Is it possible Tennessee, who, by the way, was number one for a couple of weeks in the college football playoff rankings a year ago, is it possible for Tennessee to stay at that level that we saw a year ago?
What is the University of Tennessee at quarterback? I just mean as a program. Is this really the kind of program that has found themselves in the sweet spot such that pretty much any quarterback is going to thrive here? Like Lincoln Riley in his career, seems like everyone turns into a Heisman Trophy contender. Is that Josh Heupel?
Because 2022 for Tennessee was magical. You beat Alabama, you make a New Year's Six bowl. Hendon Hooker was on track to win the Heisman Trophy. You confirm emphatically Josh Heupel is the right guy for the job down there. 2023, to me, the pulse at Tennessee is, why not us?
We forget that Tennessee has always been a major power in college football, but they've just fallen so far off the stage. So it's not as difficult for Tennessee to suddenly get everything clicking because they have the infrastructure there.
Wherever you listen throughout the world, it's football time in Tennessee.
There's a pass play that's there. Jalen Hyatt, touchdown. Now he's going to go deep. Got a man out there. Oh, what a catch. Diving catch by Keaton. Hooker going deep. Man's there. Got it. Jalen Hyatt, touchdown. Richardson pressured. Throws at the last moment, and it's intercepted by the Volunteers. There will be no comeback. Tennessee wins it. Chase McGrath for the win for the Volunteers. From 40. On the way, a knuckleball. He got it! And here they come.
Easy touchdown for Jabari Small. That direction on the side. Huge hit. Oh, my God. The Volunteers on the carry. They get interception. Wide open is Hyatt running free. A total loss and a quick strike for the Volunteers.
Hooker throws, end zone, touchdown! Cedric Tillman.
Hooker looks downfield. In the end zone, he's got Hyatt for the touchdown. And the Vols, 40-13 over LSU.
Because Joe Milton is just getting straight up disrespected. Did y'all not see what he did in that game against Clemson? Did y'all not see what he did in the Orange Bowl? I don't feel like that's just a one-off. I think that's a preview to the movie we're going to get in 2023.
There we go. Now my mic is unmuted. Oi, fellow comrades. It's Squidtard here, and Lucas Sharp's here as well. And welcome to episode numero 5 of the VOLSTAR podcast. So, a lot of topics to talk about today. College football. We just experienced the first breath of it yesterday with some very interesting results. And we'll talk about those in a little while. We're going to talk about a lot of things today. Got to talk about what's upcoming for Tennessee. Virginia playing up against the Volunteers. That's going to be a super fun matchup for us specifically. I'll have the hate video on that coming sometimes at the end of this week. So stay tuned for that. But today we'll give a little bit of a preview into that, a preview into what's going to come up on week 1. We'll just kind of brief those out. We also have to go on a rant a little bit about Kentucky, man, and Vandy, man. Both those fan bases have gone off the deep end. So we'll speak about those in a little bit. But yeah, Lucas, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good tonight. It's just been an easy day. I just had to, as you can see, the background's changed. I had to change rooms. I moved downstairs. And also, just had to do a little bit of homework today. Thankfully, I got a good grade on that. I see everybody's, of course, starting classes. I hope everybody's doing well. College, of course, it's not easy. It really isn't.
Never is.
Yeah, it honestly feels like a job that you don't even get paid for. That's what it feels like. But yeah, Yeah, hopefully y'all stay out of trouble. Hopefully y'all do good in school.
No kidding. Well, I think this is like the first show that we've done, Lucas. That I'm looking on the weather right now. Because I was getting ready to see how there were going to be storms tonight again. Because every single other episode, there's been storms around the house.
Yeah,
not this time.
Yeah, absolutely, just tornadoes and hurricanes just appearing out of nowhere. Thankfully, not this time.
Yeah, no, not today. Those are all hanging out over below Florida right now. I think it's on. I have a buddy down in Florida around Tallahassee, and he said that that's supposed to hit Florida Tuesday night to Wednesday morning. So, prayers to the people down there. Evacuate if it's that bad of a situation. We don't want you getting hurt around here because, if you bite the dust, then you won't be able to watch Squidtard. Okay, but obviously, jokes aside, please make sure it stays safe from the storms. It's been a very, very, very nasty summer when it comes to that. But summer's almost over as we are progressing through the fall season.
Thank the Lord. It's been hot as heck, man.
I think yesterday it got up to 96 degrees up in this house.
Yeah. Usually I'm a fan of warm weather, but it's been too dang hot. I'm honestly ready for fall. This is one of the few times I'm actually ready for fall.
Couldn't say anything better than that. See, we got some people in here already. Craig Tucker and Tweak are here as well. The South Park role players are in full effect. AIP, Vols, and Pokes is here. Tennessee is going to win it all this season. Go Vols. Yeah, gosh darn right they are. Well, thank goodness. USC played terrible defense in their first game. Yeah, we will talk a bit about USC and some of these other teams that played in week 0. So, first, we have a couple of things I would like to address. Some of the Vol news, the latest Vol news for this week. Well, the obvious news, because it is now late August, classes have begun at the University of Tennessee. And Lucas, I told you a little bit about this before the show, but I ran into quite the epidemic last Thursday, which really, really pissed me off. So Thursday, and if anybody else attends UT, you absolutely know about this because you weren't able to find one either. But I'm going to say, let's see. I have classes on Thursday, Lucas, from 11:20, I think, is the first class, till like 3:45 is when the last class ends. So I'm trying to get there for my first class. It's a 30-minute drive, so I leave the house an hour before class begins. I get there around 10:50, okay? I go into the G10 parking lot, which is the parking lot that everyone uses. And, well, it's the most, I guess, the biggest parking lot on campus. I go there. There is not a single parking space available. I go through each of the 4 lots, go all the way down. There's like 4 different levels, and I'm driving down, going around. The line is packed, and it's like a mile-long line of cars waiting for somebody to pull out so that they can find a parking space. So I'm sitting here in this line, and eventually, now it's 11 o'clock. Now it's 11:10. Now it's 11:20, and I'm late for my class. So I'm sitting there in full-on panic mode, like, here we go. Now I'm late for my first class. Lucas, you want to take a guess on how long it took me to get a parking spot?
I'm going to say about 35 minutes. Longer than that?
3 hours. 3 hours.
What?
Yeah.
Wait.
I think I did in total about... Because I eventually left and took a break from it to go use the bathroom. But I did about 10 laps around four big rows of parking lots. That's a lot of time spent on finding a parking space. I used up a lot of gas to do it too. So, to say the least, I was very, very pissed off. I made it just in time to tell my professor for my second class why I was late. So I only made 1 class out of the 3.
Well, did your second professor at least understand?
Yeah. No, I told him I was sitting there for 3 hours trying to find a friggin' parking space. So, yeah.
Well, I guess you got to show up now 2 hours early. You got to leave about 2 hours early.
Right, and I guess the good news is that it wasn't just me that was having this problem. There was a lot of complaints on Twitter, on on UT's official website. Everybody was pretty pissed off about it. But it's what I heard from people that went to UT was that, it was the first week of class, always hectic. Once you get through that first week, everything else kind of rolls on smoothly. So hopefully next week will be less of an issue.
Yeah, I mean, this is what's going to happen since they got rid of that one parking spot to put that UT hotel or whatever.
They haven't done that yet, thankfully. In fact, if they do that, the parking lot that I was just talking about will be gone, and thus it would become even worse.
Yeah.
It's gotten so bad that people are parking on this big slab that leads up directly from the road all the way up to the top of Neyland Stadium. People are parking there, as well as in the staff lots and in the handicap parking spaces. People are losing their minds yesterday, or on Thursday. So I'm glad to know that. I'm glad to know, hopefully, that won't be the case when I have to go back on Tuesday. I only have to go to campus 2 days of the week, Tuesday and Thursday. So hopefully on Tuesday it'll be way less than it was.
So you only have to go on classes for 2 days? That's actually that's insane. I have to go classes 4 days.
Oh yeah, it's amazing, especially since last semester I had to go all 5 days of the week in the morning. So and the only reason why is because my Monday class is online. So I really got the good end of the stick there, because otherwise I'd be wasting a lot of gas going back and forth to UT's campus.
Right.
So I'm really glad that that's no longer the case. AIP Vols and Pokes says, well, thank goodness I'm not in school anymore. I already graduated high school before 2021, and now I have a job. Well, good for you, man. Hey, look, the future is your choice. I do this for mine. Everybody has their own choices in life. So you do what you do, and we will do what we will do. That's the way I see it. Yep. All right. Well, I think we've discussed classes enough. We'll see how that. I'll have an update on that next Sunday. Another big news update. And this wasn't really talked about by anybody, surprisingly, but Philip Fulmer, former Tennessee football coach, as we all know, shocker, and also the former athletic director. He was actually undergoing a medical procedure on Thursday, and apparently he was getting a big checkup for something that happened. I think he was. I'm not sure on the details of this. I'm actually getting this from Knox News, but he was hospitalized and underwent a medical procedure on Thursday. And eventually the family came out with a statement about his condition. They didn't really say what happened, but they did say that after what happened, he was in good condition and he'll be fine. So great news to hear. That was definitely concerning when I saw the news headline, so I'm glad to know that he is okay.
Yeah, that's definitely good to hear. This is actually the first time I've heard of this. I didn't hear this.
Right. I'm glad. I'm glad to say that he's in good condition.
Yeah.
That was definitely concerning. Let me see when the article came out. Yeah, no, this came out on the 24th. So on Thursday, it was a Thursday morning when it happened, and I guess it was just one of those things where he just didn't feel good. I don't really know, because they don't really explain what exactly happened to him or how he got in that condition. But it's good to know that he recovered, made a really quick recovery.
Yeah.
Scary stuff, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
All right, well, Hudson Deans asked, worst defense, Vols or USC?
USC.
Is that even a question? Come on. At least our team tries.
Yeah, Tennessee's front seven this year, I believe, is actually going to be solid.
Well, even if last year.
Yeah, our run defense was really good last year, and it's going to be really good again. Our main problems are secondary, mostly.
Yeah. The USC has an entirely different issue with their defensive line, again, which we'll get into momentarily. Another big news headline, and this is to the chagrin of a lot of Tennessee fans. So UT, the University of Tennessee, is partnering with Food City on a 10-year arena naming rights deal. So the new name for Thompson Bowling Arena, it'll be Thompson Bowling Arena at Food City Center. There really wasn't, I really can't understand the particular reason why Danny White would do it.
Probably because of money.
That would be That would be the thought process I have. But yeah, Food City Center. So Kentucky man, I spoke about him just a minute ago. We'll get into that momentarily, but I guess this is what we get for all the Kroger Field jokes that we made about Kentucky not long before.
Yeah, no, we can't make any more Kroger Field jokes.
Well, no, I'm still making Kroger Field jokes because I don't care. I don't care about being named Food City Arena. Kroger Field is twice as goofy as that. So still though, that is a unique, I guess, naming rights deal. I guess it makes sense. There's a lot of food cities here in Knoxville. Let me see. I'm reading the article right now to see, kind of the whole process behind this and why it happened. But all I can see is that Danny White was excited about the multi-year naming rights agreement. I think this is okay. Food City's overall commitment to Tennessee athletics will allow the university to invest in excess of $20 million over the next 10 years and will aid new and needed renovations of the arena and upgrades to the facility interior and exterior. So that is something to take note of.
Yeah.
Is that they are making upgrades to the arena, and I guess the process behind that was due to the renovations that they made to Neyland Stadium not long ago. I guess the process makes sense.
Yeah, it definitely makes sense. And honestly, I've seen some of the pictures. Not gonna lie, it actually looks nice. The renovations, they actually look really, really nice. Even though it kind of upsets me that they're like changing the name. I mean, what can I say? I mean, it looks nice. It's nice for the basketball team.
Well, yeah. And no better time to start than now with the basketball season being down like it is, but you probably should have started that in April rather than wait till August. Or maybe, chances are, I feel like this process will start right after March comes to a close next year, and then throughout the 2024 offseason, they will start building that because, as Vanderbilt has taught us, doing projects like this midway through the season or midway through the off season into the start of the season, not a great idea. As the Vanderbilt construction zone, was a very great environment to watch some football yesterday, as we all know.
Yep, 2 cranes holding up the scoreboard.
Yep, in inclement weather, no less. Watching the jumbotron waving back and forth. Tennessee fans pointed that out, and Vandy fans were pissed about it. Like, quit deflecting. Admit that was stupid.
It was.
So, yeah, that's the process on the naming rights deal. We'll have more info on that in the future, I bet. So, right now, that's all I really have to say about that. Now on to the next topic. I wanted to talk about this. Lucas also showed me this before the show, and this is absolutely hilarious. So, Kentucky Sports Radio. Some of you might know them, some of you might not. They talk a lot on Twitter about Tennessee. They talk a lot on YouTube about Tennessee. They talk a lot about, wherever they can, they talk about Tennessee. They talk about Tennessee at the grocery store. So here we are now. And this came out a day ago. It's got about 2,000 views already on their YouTube channel, Kentucky Sports Radio. Tennessee will take a step back in 2023 is the title. So based on that, you think about, not really that, it's not really that bad, but you got to watch the video to really understand just how ludicrous and stupid this is. And I will go ahead and show you exactly, exactly what I mean. So let me give you an idea of exactly what I'm talking about. So, there's the display. Yeah. So this is, and I'll share this for Lucas as well so that he can see it. I think it's important for him to do that as well. I'm doing this through OBS and StreamYard, and unfortunately they don't share the same, they don't really share the same type of thing. So
yeah,
tough news on that, but it's all right. Let's see. Here we go. So, yeah. Kentucky will take a step back in 2023 college football hot takes. So, they've got a bunch of hot takes, and one of them being Tennessee taking a step back in 2023. Not the biggest hot take ever, but the reasoning behind it is where this gets ludicrous. So, let me present that to you and see and show you exactly what I'm talking about here. I wish I could zoom in further, though. That's kind of annoying that it's... Okay, there we go. All right, here we go. I'll play this for y'all, and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about.
Knowledge.
One team that I want to be less rated, they're being too overrated. It's this.
That's red flag number 1 right there. One team I want to be less rated.
Yep. This is what I'm talking about, dude. Kentucky fans, they just can't keep Tennessee's name out of their mouth. It's absolutely embarrassing.
Well, that's not even the complaint I have. You can say all you want to about Tennessee, but if you're talking about a hot take and you're giving some actual legitimate reasons behind it, saying you want this to happen isn't a good sign, and it's definitely a red flag. So it's not really based on any type of research.
Instead of wanting Tennessee to try to be terrible, he should want some hair. I mean,
yeah, no, I don't get it either. But it continues onwards. Listen to the rest of this.
Stupid volunteers at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. I know that I've mentioned it quite a bit up to this point, but you have to have a lot of faith in Josh Heupel. And
well, he's our head coach. So that would make sense.
You're having a tough time with this.
I am, and I know some of it is definitely going to be personal, but and they're going to beat
Shocker.
the brakes off of Virginia next week. It's going to get really ugly, but Tennessee, they don't just strike a crawl in Kentucky fans. You think Nick Saban took that loss well last year? I mean, this schedule is not going to be kind to them.
Okay, hold on. Stopping again. I don't see what that has to do with anything. Oh, you think Nick Saban took the loss tough last year? They didn't take the Texas A&M loss good last year, too. They were arguing and bitching at each other all throughout the entire offseason. And everybody was expecting Nick Saban to come out and absolutely body A&M. What happened? The game they nearly lost the game. It was like a 1-point game. So
yep, and they probably should have lost that game. I mean...
Yeah, no, so don't say revenge game. I don't believe whatever that even means. I don't even think that exists. There is no such thing as a revenge game. You play who you play, and you show up for every game. There isn't just games that you get hot in and the games that you get. I mean, of course, there's games that you get hot in, but the point is that it's like that has nothing to do with anything. And I don't know why he brought that up when talking about a hot take called Tennessee stepping back in 2023. I guess if you want to talk about it, it's definitely possible Tennessee loses to Alabama, but that doesn't mean they take a step back. Maybe record-wise, that is possible, but nobody's. I mean, you get what I'm getting at here, Lucas, right?
Yeah. I don't know. This dude, he just seems like this dude literally just seems like he just loves talking about Tennessee, and that he just that they love talking about Tennessee. And the dude, of course, it was a red flag when he said he wanted Tennessee to take a step back, because literally he looked like he was getting. I don't know if you've seen it, but it kind of looked like he was getting upset when he was talking about Tennessee.
He's upset, all right.
Yeah, he was like Tennessee.
Look, I'd be upset too if I only beat Tennessee 3 out of the last 30 years. So
yeah, 3 out of the last 35 to be exact, sir.
Even worse. Yeah, that's tough. That's tough. But anyway, let's continue.
And they're going to be leaning heavily on Joe Milton. And the other part of this, too, is that to this point, Josh Heupel has been he's been playing with house money at this point. He's exceeded all sort of expectations.
He hasn't had many swings and misses.
Exactly. So at the first sign of a crack in that foundation, this thing could crumble. Just like that, because I know they like Squirrel and they like Brew McCoy, but it's not Cedric Tillman. It's not Jalen Hyatt. I don't know if y'all paid any attention to what Jalen Hyatt's done in the preseason. The dude's pretty damn good. Hendon Hooker did everything and then some for them. And I just want to remind you, like, Scott Frost and Josh Heupel are not the same, but Josh Heupel has not been a home run everywhere he's been, okay? Do you remember what happened in the second half of that game?
All right.
Actually, he's going to bring up, just letting you know, people, he's going to bring up Mizzou. But the thing is, though, He wasn't the head coach at Mizzou. He was like the offensive
coordinator, yeah. But anyway, he talked about how Dante Thornton and Squirrel White, they aren't Cedric Tillman, they aren't Jalen Hyatt. So one thing that a lot of people like to do, this isn't just these guys, but it's a lot of people, and the same thing happens with Hendon Hooker. They say that they were hyped up all the way throughout the season. Tennessee caught lightning in a bottle. They were the only good players. They were hyped up all the way through the season. They got super lucky. I mean, we all know, truth be told, Hendon Hooker, Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman, those are all really good players. But that doesn't mean they walked on campus as players that everybody was paying attention to. Every Virginia Tech fan on planet Earth, when we first got Hendon Hooker, was telling me he ain't no good. You're wasting a spot on the roster. Nobody paid attention to him. Even going into 2022, after the 21 season, not many people even focused on Hendon Hooker outside of being a top 5 quarterback in the SEC. What happens halfway through the season? Everyone's talking about him. So stop with the idea that Tennessee just caught lightning in a bottle and, they just don't have any other talent on the field. It's just ridiculous, man. Just ridiculous.
Yeah.
Joe Milton. Joe Milton could come out and exceed Hendon Hooker's stats for all we know.
Yeah, so, he could definitely be better than Hendon Hooker. Honestly, I think he's actually he's probably a better passer than Hooker is.
Right. Well, this whole thing, the thing that bothers me about what these guys are saying is that all of it's riding on assumption rather than things that they've actually experienced. They haven't said one word about the defense, which is surprising. They've been talking about how the offense is going to take a big regression and that they caught lightning in a bottle and all this. That's the problem. They're dealing with assumptions here when it comes to all this. I'm going to assume that Joe Milton will not be as good as Hendon Hooker. I'm going to assume that Jalen Hyatt was just super fast and good. And in the same breath, these people will tell you that Jalen Hyatt's just a gimmick player and he wasn't going to compete in the NFL. Now he's competing in the NFL, and they've quickly turned the narrative back to just Tennessee caught lightning in a bottle. It's a flip type of thing. Flip the hourglass one way or the other. It's ridiculous, man. They can never just give credit to a player. It's always got to be one thing or the other.
Yeah, they never give credit to a player if it's a Tennessee player. If Jalen Hyatt went to Georgia or something like that, they'd be talking about him all the time. But since he went to Tennessee, they want to say that he's like a gimmicky player who played in a gimmicky offense. And,
right. The disrespect is unreal. They've been glazing these big brands for as long as we remember. They've been glazing the everybody's been. The AP poll glazed the big brands when they put Clemson 3 spots ahead of Tennessee in the AP poll. For what reason? Because they just, remember that championship they won in 2016 and 2018? That's literally the only reason is because they have a past of winning. That entire thing isn't based on the talent that they have now. It's based on the fact that they've been known to win more. So it's a big brand bias type deal with them. So it's nothing new. Tennessee's been getting disrespected for as long as I can remember. So, take from that what you will. Anyway, let's listen to the rest of this.
Game at Missouri, Lockett. How many first downs did they get when Josh Heupel was calling plays with future NFL starter Drew Lock at quarterback?
That would be 0.
That would be 0. So it's not
how many first downs how many touchdowns did Will Levis put up on the board versus Tennessee this year? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he got. I'm pretty sure.
Hold up. There you go. Perfect answer.
Yo,
so
how many
it's
interceptions
not like he's
did
just
he throw?
Yeah,
God's
right.
gift to football. Ask Bob. That's why he's so pissed off at Oklahoma. This guy is not infallible. So to act like Tennessee somehow is because they've got some dude who can throw the ball 80 yards. How many times is Joe Milton going to throw the football 80 yards in a football game? I know that I feel like I'm beating a dead horse, and some of this is me just trying to speak it into an existence like I'm LeVar Ball over here. But, I don't think I'm crazy here. This is not going to be a walk in the park for the Volunteers, and I really think Brad White's got something up his sleeve for him. I think, as Michael Jordan, infamous, he's taking that personally. So I really hope the Vols are going to fall flat this season, and some of it's at Kentucky's expense.
Right. That the ending part pretty much told the whole story about what the whole process behind that.
Saying that Brad White's got something for Tennessee, yeah, kind of like Mark Stoops had something for Tennessee last year, right? Literally, Kentucky fans do this every single year. They beat their drum, saying how they're going to be so good and how they're going to beat Tennessee, and then Tennessee comes out and absolutely curb stomps them. Like, literally, they
the revenge, and the revenge tour thing is dumb too.
Yeah, so, I don't know. Kentucky fans, they'll never learn. They'll never learn.
Well, the revenge tour thing, the thing about it is that doesn't exist. The whole thing that I heard going into the game for Kentucky-Tennessee last year was that Kentucky was coming in hot, wanting revenge. They didn't put up more than 6 points against the defense that they've been, gargling on the entire week before the game. So there is no such thing as revenge in this matchup. There just isn't. There's no revenge tour happening. None of that's happening. Tennessee's going to roll into Kentucky, the same thing that they've been doing for the longest time, and they're going to outplay you, and that's how they're going to beat you. So, I don't know. If you beat Tennessee, you're better than them, but unfortunately, that's not how it works, and that's, it usually doesn't work out that way for Kentucky, as we all know. So,
yep, even the worst teams in Tennessee history have somehow found a way to beat Kentucky, which is honestly crazy to me.
Yeah, and I want to know which voice in his head told him that Tennessee is infallible. Like, what? Who goes around saying that other than the trolls who are talking about? And the trolls who say Tennessee's going 15-0 are the same people that are saying, Bama's going 15-0, Georgia's going 15-0, Auburn's going 15-0, Kentucky's going 15-0. The list goes on. So stop with the whole infallible thing. Nobody with the right sense of mind is going around saying that Tennessee's infallible, and that because Joe Milton can throw 80 yards down the field, that means Tennessee is the best offense in college football. Tennessee has one of the best offenses, but not, debatably the best. Anyway, that stuff we'll have to roll into later. But yeah, Kentucky fans pretty down bad right now, as we all know. That's for sure. So, God rest ye soul.
I need to try to, if they do another one, I need to watch it and try and send another clip or something. If they ever have a call-in show, you best believe I'm calling in.
Right. Yeah, no, that's jeez, man. Jeez, oh jeez, oh jeez. So let's check in with the comment section. Vanderbilt will continue to suck again this year. Cannot disagree with that. Kentucky fans are delusional. Yep. Also agree with that. Tennessee going to absolutely destroy Kentucky this year. Yeah.
Yep.
I agree with all those comments. Now we got to talk about what we just saw in terms of football. And we had some football not too long ago, yesterday in fact. And there were some great games, I'll tell you that much. Week 0 brought a lot of attention to the college football world. And I was glad too, because I was worried that they were just going to be a bunch of blowouts. And while a lot of them were blowouts, some of them did make it entertaining. And well, I'll go ahead and touch on some of these games pretty quick. We still have to go through some of the week 1 matchups, Lucas, but I'll go ahead and say Notre Dame was probably by far the most impressive team yesterday.
Yeah, Notre Dame definitely. If you were to end the season right now and you were to make the 4-team playoff, the number 1 seed would obviously be Notre Dame. And I guess,
right.
College Football Reddit, they made a tweet a few hours ago. They said the 1 seed should be Notre Dame, 2 seeds should be USC, 3 seed would be Vandy, and then 4 seed would be UMass.
Playoff of the ages right there. But yeah, Notre Dame put on a great performance against Navy. Sam Hartman went for
I have to watch my neighbors.
Really with the ads, man? Get out of here. Okay. But Sam Hartman went for 250 yards, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions. Had a phenomenal game against Navy. And the defense played out of their mind against them. This is Navy we're talking about.
Yeah.
But by far Notre Dame had the greatest performance.
Yeah, and also Notre Dame's run game actually looked really, really good as well. And also, of course, you said you could say that it was just Navy. But the thing is, though, yes, it's Navy. But when you play a terrible team, the best thing you can do is go out and absolutely beat the crap out of them, and that's what Notre Dame did. So I feel like, yes, you could say, oh, it's Navy, but I feel like you got to give credit where credit's due to Notre Dame. They played really, really good the other day, and they're definitely coming for Ohio State because Ohio, what Michigan did to beat Ohio State last season was absolutely to just run the ball down their throats, and Notre Dame run game honestly looks really good. So Notre Dame, they're definitely coming for Ohio State, and honestly, I honestly think they'll beat Ohio State, to be honest with you.
Oh, yeah.
But
Yeah, you could put money on that. Well, the next team we got to talk about here, USC. What in the world happened with them, man? I really thought they were going to improve on defense.
I'll tell you what happened. Lincoln Riley happened. Literally no defense. None. Literally, defense does not exist in Lincoln Riley's world.
Well, that's just kind of the thing I expect now with Lincoln Riley offenses, and it's just, luckily they're in a conference where the entire philosophy is built around having, a great offense with a Heisman caliber quarterback and a defense that's something out of a rhinoceros sphincter. So nothing new here out of USC. I really thought they were going to see some defensive improvement, but because San Jose State San Jose State pretty much pancaked their defensive line up through the run game for most of that game.
Yeah.
So it's not like USC's four-stringers are getting outplayed. This was their starting defense getting melted by San Jose State. So
yeah, I'm pretty sure San Jose State almost had 200 yards rushing, or at least over 200 yards rushing. That's embarrassing, man.
Humiliating. Yeah.
And plus they gave up 28 points. How do you give up 28 points to San Jose State? I don't know.
And as expected, USC or Caleb Williams had as good of a game, or even better than Sam Hartman. Put up 270 yards, 4 touchdowns. Had a great game overall, but honestly, he's going to continue to have to do that now.
Honestly, I feel like without Caleb Williams, USC might have lost that game if they didn't have Caleb Williams.
I don't know about that. They have a lot of talent on that offense, but if they had imagine this, Lucas. Imagine this is the most cursed team I could think of. Iowa offense, USC defense.
Oh my goodness, that'd be a matchup for the ages.
Ugh. Oh my gosh, I couldn't even imagine.
Literally turn the game off immediately.
Sickos committee highlight what I just said. You might want to get in on that.
Yeah.
Good Lord. So I did want to talk about some of these Group of 5 games too. I thought they were pretty fun. Jacksonville State made the transition to the Conference USA, and well, they started out strong. Beat UTEP at home. Unfortunately, UTEP is not a playoff team, and I wanted to ride that until they lost, and they lost yesterday.
I guess Jacksonville State's a playoff team, though.
Yeah, we can ride with that, I guess. It was a great game overall. Very interesting at the end there. One thing that really threw me off, though, is what was the play call at the end? UTEP's on 4th and 1. And they're at the 30-something yard line. They can kick a field goal and tie it, put it into overtime. But they wanted to play, risky and get the 4th down. That makes sense. But what do? They try and throw a slant route, and it was the dumbest thing I think I've ever seen. Corner route, I think it was, and it failed miserably. It was picked off, and Jacksonville State won the game on that play.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure UTEP, earlier in the game in the first quarter, they went for a 4th down, and the quarterback was under center with 3 people behind him. It was one of the weirdest formations I've ever seen in the game of football. And then, of course, they didn't get the 4th down. Honestly, UTEP's coach, he needed to be fired yesterday.
Yeah.
He needed to be fired yesterday. I'm surprised the UTEP coach still has a job.
Him and Alex Grinch are getting ready to head to the Nick Saban rehabilitation clinic pretty shortly.
Yeah.
UMass won yesterday. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this is UMass's first time starting 1-0 since 1985 or something like that.
Yeah, that's big news for him.
Yeah.
And then of course we got to talk about Vandy Wandy, the Vanderbilt Commodores. So they beat Hawaii by 53 points in 2022, week 0. Now they're hosting Hawaii. Hawaii has to travel all the way to Nashville. They wait a super long time for the game to kick off because of a weather delay, and Vanderbilt struggles through the entirety of the game and wins by 7. So is it that Hawaii has improved that much, or has Vandy regressed?
Yeah, maybe I'd say both.
Yeah, why not both?
Because honestly, I thought Hawaii's quarterback played well. Besides those interceptions he thrown,
Schrager, I think, had a interesting performance. He had 351 yards total, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Now, put that into perspective, Lucas. This guy, Schrager from Hawaii, put up 350 yards of offense on Vandy. What in the world do you think teams like Tennessee are getting ready to do to that Vanderbilt defense?
I'm guessing Joe Milton's going to throw for 500. He could probably throw for 500 yards if he got to play the full game, but he's not going to play the full game against Vandy.
And AJ Swan had a pretty good game too, but he needed to have one because that Vanderbilt offensive line was doing him 0 favors.
Yeah, I'll give AJ Swan credit. He played well. I didn't know this, but there's apparently a running back on Vandy's team. His name is Cheeks Smith.
Oh my gosh, yeah, they nicknamed him Cheeks. That's gonna be a meme for a while now.
No wonder he is Booty Cheeks. No wonder.
Yeah. Well, Vanderbilt did win yesterday, but arguably in the weirdest way possible. So there were several questionable play calls that really kind of screwed Hawaii in this game. I'm not gonna go on the whole the ref screwed over Vandy type deal because then I'd just be another Jared. But Hawaii, I mean, there were several times where they, I think, got screwed out of it. I mean, say for example, I think it was in the second quarter, Hawaii was trying to tie up the ball game at 21. They had a big run, got into the end zone, but then it got reversed, and it turns out his knee was down at the 1-yard line. Schrager throws a pick, and Vandy stops him from being able to score a touchdown. The second one that really threw me off was the onside kick at the end of the game with 4 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Hawaii goes for an onside kick when they're down by 7, gets the onside kick, but turns out his foot was like, you couldn't even tell if he was out of bounds or not, but they originally called it out of bounds, and they never bothered to overturn it. In fact, they said it was under review and didn't even bother to review it. So Vandy got the ball back. They ended up squandering their offensive possession. Then it got back to Hawaii, and instantly Schrager threw a pick. So Hawaii definitely squandered a lot of the opportunities last night. But, that does tell you about where Vanderbilt's standing right now.
Yeah, Vanderbilt's just not a very good position right now.
Yeah. So, they struggled against Elon Musk University last year and still beat Kentucky and Florida. I expect some changes for Vandy this season, and it better happen quick, otherwise they're in for a very rough season.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing. They're not beating Wake Forest. They're not beating Tennessee. They're not beating Georgia. They're not beating Kentucky. I mean, Florida? Maybe Florida. I mean, maybe.
Well, remember, Jared said that Vandy would be 6-1 heading into the Georgia game. So that means so let's just say that they beat, what other high school teams they play and UNLV. So that would probably make them 3-0. So out of the other 4 games on the road at Wake Forest, Florida, Kentucky, and Missouri, they got to win at least 3 of the 4 of those. You think that's happening?
No. I mean,
no. They'd be lucky they'd be lucky to win 2 of those.
They're not beating Wake Forest. They're not beating Kentucky. I mean, Missouri, I don't think they're beating Missouri either. Florida, though, maybe they could beat Florida because I don't care what you say. Florida, I think it's gonna be absolutely terrible.
And the way things that play out in the schedule, they at least have to be sitting at like 5-2 heading into the Georgia game. Otherwise, they're not making a bowl game like Jared wants them to.
Yeah, they're not making a bowl game
because they're not beating Georgia. They're not beating Tennessee. They're not beating Ole Miss. Auburn, I don't know. I don't think so.
I don't think they're beating Auburn. I think Auburn will be a solid team this year.
Right, so it's looking like it's going to be a tough year for Vandy if things play out the same way. Because if that's what you're doing against Hawaii, who knows what you could see? Because you got to go on the road to play UNLV. So I don't know.
Possible loss there.
Yeah, maybe Vandy just plays better on the road. Who knows? Anyway, though, let's go ahead and check out, because now we're going to go ahead and just move on to week 1. And there are a lot of great games coming up starting Thursday. And I'm only going to talk about some of the Power 5 matchups because we don't have time to go through all the, like St. Francis at Western Michigan. I doubt anybody's paying attention to that barn burner. But, yeah, we got, of course, Florida traveling on the road to play 14th ranked Utah. That's going to be a fun one. Utah is a 6.5-point favorite. You think Utah's winning that?
I think they will. I think Utah. It's on the road at Utah, and plus, I think Utah is just the better team. I actually don't think Cam Rising's playing, is he? Or
why wouldn't he?
I mean, wait, is he? There was somebody that said that Cam Rising wasn't playing, but maybe
he's playing.
Oh, he is. And
yeah.
Florida's finished. I think Utah. I think they're pissed from last year's game, and plus it's on the road at Utah. I think Utah wins.
Yeah, I think the Swamp definitely screwed with Utah a lot. That is a hard environment to play in, but it's not going to do too well for the Gators this year.
Yeah, Utah actually has a pretty nice home crowd, considering they're not really that big of a program per se. So, yeah, I think Utah. I think they win somewhat easily.
Yeah, so that's my thought on that. You summed that up pretty well. Nebraska is the next one here. Nebraska, coaching debut of Matt Rule traveling out to play Minnesota. This is going to be interesting, I think.
Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to seeing exactly what we'll get from this. PJ Fleck has got in a few years under Minnesota, so an experienced coach with a bunch of years at the same team against an NFL coach who's moving back to the college level to play with Nebraska. I'm pretty sure I have Minnesota winning this one. They're a 7.5-point favorite. You think they will?
I could see this game going either way. Minnesota, they do lose that Muhammad Ibrahim guy, who I really, really liked him. He was a really, really good running back.
Right.
But I mean, this game, it's at Minnesota, obviously. I do think this game could go either way. PJ Fleck, of course, he's been with Minnesota for a long time. He's every single year, it seems like with Minnesota, he usually gets like 8 or 9 wins with Minnesota every single year. And of course, Matt Rule, he's known for turning around college football teams. He turned around Temple. He turned around Baylor before he went to the Panthers. And honestly, I think he'll probably turn around Nebraska. I don't know when, but I think he will. I think Nebraska got a good one in Matt Rule. I think I'm gonna go with Minnesota just because it's at home. But
that's fair.
I could honestly see this game going either way.
Yeah, it's definitely plausible. Now, moving on to Friday, there aren't many good matchups here. The only good one is a 7:30 kickoff on ESPN, what is called the Aflac kickoff in Atlanta. Louisville traveling out to play Georgia Tech. Louisville's coming in as a 7.5-point favorite against the Yellow Jackets. This could be an interesting game. Haynes King coming into Georgia Tech to play quarterback for them. I think Georgia Tech wins this one outright. I think they're a lot better under Brent Key than a lot of people think they are. I think they'll put up some interesting numbers in this matchup. What do you think?
Yeah, I actually kind of like Brent Key. I think he's definitely a better coach than Jeff Collins, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But anybody can be better than Jeff Collins.
Yeah. Also, Jeff Brom is going under his coaching debut against Georgia Tech. So.
Oh yeah, I forgot they hired Jeff Brom from Purdue.
That's right.
Yeah, I could see this game going either way. And plus, this game, it's technically a home game for Georgia Tech, considering it's in Atlanta. So,
yeah.
I'm gonna probably go with Louisville. I think Louisville right now somewhat has a bit of a better team, and plus, I mean Jeff Brom, he actually has like head coaching experience. Brent Key, he don't have that right now. I'm gonna go with Louisville, but I could see Georgia Tech winning, but I'm gonna go Louisville.
Yeah, that's fair. All right, so on to the next one. Before we get to the Saturday slate, let's see what the comments are up to. Let's see. I guess you're talking about Vandy here, Hudson Dean. They need to put the student section on the floor like Auburn. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, Michigan Man says, at this point, Notre Dame would beat USC. That would be the most surprising thing ever. In fact, since I have Notre Dame beating Ohio State. Yeah.
If Notre Dame played USC tomorrow, I would honestly pick Notre Dame.
Yeah. One thing's for sure, though. If they continue down the way they are, play consistently, and beat both Ohio State and USC, they could be looking at a playoff year.
Yeah, Notre Dame could very well make the playoffs, especially if they play like they did against Navy. I mean, yes, it's against Navy, but they looked really, really good defensively and offensively, and you got to give them credit for it.
Oh, right. Oh, Hudson was talking about Tennessee basketball. That's fair.
Tennessee basketball, they better win the SEC this year. They're favored to win the SEC this year. I mean,
yeah.
They returned most of their starters from last season, but I'm not going to jump into the basketball because I know you probably don't want to talk about that.
Well, we'll jump on that later on throughout the episodes. We got plenty of time to speak about that before the season starts there. Besides, it's football season, baby.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'll save the best for last, but so we'll skip on here. Colorado, the Deion Sanders era beginning there. They're having to travel out to play what is a team that was just in the national championship, TCU, who's ranked number 17th. TCU coming in as a 21-point favorite. And right now I'm hearing conflicting thoughts. The Deion fans are all on board thinking that not only is Colorado going to cover here, but they're just going to win outright, which is crazy to think about. But, yeah, no. So a lot of people seem to think about this. Of course, Colorado got a mass exodus of transfers through the portal and brought over to Colorado, but a lot of these guys did come from the FCS level. So I've got a good feeling that they aren't prepared for TCU, especially at this level, and especially with Deion Sanders making his first debut in this matchup. I have a feeling a lot of people are discrediting TCU just because they lost Max Duggan and Quentin Johnston. So we'll see how it goes, though. I could be wrong about that, but yeah.
Yeah, I think TCU wins and wins easily. I do think Colorado, in a few years, I think they'll be a solid team. Honestly, they're recruiting better than what they usually do. I mean, they're getting Shadir Sanders, they're getting the Travis Hunter. They're going to be a pretty solid team in the future, I think. But right now they're going to be stinky poo poo. They're not going to be good. Deion fans who thinks they're going to like compete for the Pac-12 or win a national championship or anything like that, they just need to simmer their expectations down.
Yeah, they need to hold on to the brakes for that one.
Yeah, because I mean, literally, Tulane has a better chance of winning the Natty right now than Colorado. Freaking Tulane. I mean,
oh yeah.
Yeah, Colorado fans, they just need to simmer those expectations now. I mean, you ain't winning no national championship this year. You gotta wait at least 6 more years before thinking about competing for a Natty, maybe 7. I don't know.
Although, you continue.
I mean, if you keep bringing in good recruiting classes, maybe people will start considering you for one. But right now, no.
Right. Now, we'll say this, though. Based on what we saw yesterday, if Caleb Williams has a bad day against Colorado, it wouldn't be the most shocking thing ever to watch USC lose.
Yo, is that game at Colorado? That'd be insane if it was.
I don't know if it is. No. Actually, yeah, it is. It's at Colorado.
Oh, my. If Colorado pulls off that upset, the whole entire city of Boulder is going down that night.
Yeah, they're all going to be residing inside of the stadium. They're going to tear down the goalposts and everything.
They're going to tear down the goalposts. They're going to be stealing grass. they're gonna be basically the whole town is just gonna be down except for the stadium.
Yeah. And they're also just going to be absolutely foaming at the mouth to get an autograph with Deion Sanders. He's going to become the hero, the hometown hero that they've missed for so long.
He's the one to save Colorado football.
Yeah. By the end of it, it's going to look like that one scene from SpongeBob where the entire city's on fire and they're like, "We did it, Patrick! We saved the city!" So,
Yeah, SpongeBob.
All right, well, moving on to the next game here. A lot of these games, including the entire 3:30 slate, are pretty much a bunch of really good teams going up against, group of 5 teams. So, with the exception of some of these teams right here who I think could make things interesting, just because they tend to do that sometimes, Notre Dame syndrome, which really isn't Notre Dame syndrome anymore. We'll have to think of a new name for it. But maybe they'll make it close, but nonetheless, I expect them all to be blowouts. So the next actually interesting game, which probably won't even be that interesting, but West Virginia, this is on NBC, 7:30, West Virginia playing against Penn State, having to travel to Happy Valley. Penn State going to be a 20.5-point favorite. You think Penn State will cover that one?
Yeah, I think they cover. West Virginia, they're pretty bad. They're projected right now, I'm pretty sure, to be the worst team in the Big 12. Well, either them or Cincinnati. I can't remember.
Or Iowa State.
Oh, yeah, Iowa State. I forgot about them. But I think West Virginia will be worse than Iowa State. But yeah, I think Penn State, Nick Singleton, Drew Allar, I think they're absolutely going to shred West Virginia. And I don't think it's just, and plus, I'm pretty sure it's a night game too. If it's a night game, then yeah, it's over because Penn State Penn State fans, they show out, especially in those night games.
Oh yeah, it is a night game, 7:30 kickoff. This is going to be a tough one for West Virginia, and I think Drew Allar is the missing piece to the offense that they needed. I think they're going to really contend with Michigan and Ohio State this year, which by proxy means West Virginia doesn't stand a chance in this one. So sorry, West Virginia fans, I don't see you winning on the road here. On to the next game. Also 7:30 kickoff. This one on ABC. The Dukes Mayo Classic. North Carolina and South Carolina facing off in Bank of America Stadium. North Carolina coming in as a 2.5-point favorite. This is going to be a great quarterback matchup, I think. Spencer Rattler against Drake May. I think this is going to be a spectacular game to watch. Might just be game of the week if we're being honest here.
It probably is, to be honest with you.
And Game Day seems to agree because that's where they're heading for week 1.
Yeah.
So it makes sense to me. But who do you have winning the game, though? That's the real question.
I do think this could be a good game. I could see this game going either way. North Carolina, their offense is going to be really good again, I would believe so, this season. Drake May coming back. I could be wrong. Do they still have Ty Chandler or no? But
no, I don't think
so. No, they still have.
No, they got someone else.
Yeah,
I can check that, but I'm pretty sure I'm right on that.
Yeah, North Carolina, they're going to be good on offense, I would believe so. Again, their defense though was the main problem last season. Hopefully they got that fixed, because that was the main reason why they somewhat sucked last season, was because of their defense.
USC.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, USC. And South Carolina, Spencer Rattler comes back. They have that one running back South Carolina does that I actually kind of like. I don't know what his name is, but
yeah, and their tight end room is really good too.
Yeah, their tight end room is pretty good. Besides the fact they like to make weird poses on camera, but.
Yeah, ignoring that part though.
But yeah, this game could go either way. I'm gonna take North Carolina in this one, but I think this game could honestly go either way. But I'm gonna go North Carolina.
Right. All right. Well, moving on to the next one here. Let's see. So, nothing else going on that really catches my eye. I mean, Coastal Carolina, UCLA might be interesting, but UCLA coming in as a 14.5-point favorite there. I expect UCLA to win.
Yeah, I think UCLA, even though they lose DTR, I think they'll win, but maybe Coastal could put up a fight. I mean, Jamie Chadwell, I think he's a good coach, and plus, I don't know if they still have Grayson McCall or not, but actually,
I don't think so.
Yeah, they. I just remembered they probably don't. Yeah, I think UCLA will probably win. All right.
Oh no, I think they still they do. You're right.
Oh, they
Yeah.
do.
So it should be a fun one to watch, actually. But anyway, on to the next game here. Now, Lucas, I gotta ask you: do you ever go into your bathroom and after you finish taking a dump, just turn around and take a good look at what you made down there? It's an odd question, but I think it needs to be answered.
I mean, who? I thought everybody did that.
Well, next time you do that, remember that the what you're going to see is probably what we'll be seeing at 12 o'clock p.m. on CBS on Sunday. Northwestern and Rutgers face off. Rutgers coming in as a 6.5 point favorite over Northwestern. It's been a long time since Rutgers has come in as a favorite over a conference opponent, but this is where it comes in. So you think Rutgers will win?
I think they'll win. Northwestern's absolutely terrible, and plus dealing with all the stuff they're dealing with right now. Who would even watch this game, man, besides Rutgers and Northwestern fans?
Yeah.
I mean, comic book dude, he's probably going to watch this game. But,
comic book dude, yeah.
man, whatever happened to him?
I don't know. Maybe he'll come back someday. We just need Rutgers to win today, and win on Sunday, and he'll probably come back. In fact, while we're doing the show, Lucas, I have to figure it out. But while we're doing this game, if we do this at the same exact time next week, this game will be going on while we're doing the show, and this is the biggest game of the week for a variety of reasons. Number 5 in the rankings, LSU taking on number 8, Florida State in the Camping World kickoff. This one at Orlando, top 10 matchup, national. There's national things set on this level, so if whoever wins or loses, it's going to have a national scale to it. So definitely very important game to watch for sure. So Lucas, who do you think's coming out on top in that one?
This is definitely going to be a good game because whoever wins this game, of course, then they basically have somewhat of a mulligan, like they can lose later down the line,
right.
and then win their conference championship and still make the playoffs. But if you lose this game, then you have to win out to make the playoffs. You have to win out. This is definitely a huge game. LSU, they have Jaden Daniels coming back, who I think is going to be a pretty good player this year. Florida State, though, returns Jordan Travis, who played really good in that LSU game last season. And plus they have that one guy on the defensive line that Tennessee was trying to get in Jared Verse, who is real. He's really good. He's really good. I'm upset. I'm absolutely upset Tennessee wasn't able to get him.
Yeah.
But yeah, I could see this game going either way. I'm personally gonna go Florida State, but I could definitely see either team winning this.
Jared Verse and Harold Perkins, 2 defenders who I think are going to make absolutely huge impacts in this game. Yeah, I like both quarterbacks. I think Jaden Daniels is amazing. I think he's, both of these guys are mobile quarterbacks. Jordan Travis, too. Both of these guys, I think, are going to ball out in this game. It's going to be a spectacular matchup, but I think Florida State's coming in as the team with more depth on the field. So I think they'll just barely edge this one out, and that'll be huge for them in the future because that means they can lose to Clemson and still make the playoffs.
Yeah.
So speaking of Clemson, that's actually who we're talking about next. It's the only remaining game on the schedule here, and this is on a Monday. So we're getting this one 8 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Number 9 Clemson, which arguably is I don't know how they're ranked ahead of Tennessee, but nonetheless, Clemson taking on Duke. They're traveling out on the road to play them, playing in Duke Stadium. So I actually have Duke getting the upset here over Clemson. I think they are a much better team than what their past says, what their ranking says. I'm looking for this team to make some big moves out there. What do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of eyes apparently on this game, thinking that this game is on upset watch, saying that Duke could possibly pull off the upset. Which honestly, I think it could happen. I think Duke's definitely a better team than they were like a few years ago, and which is actually kind of crazy because people predicted Duke to be like the worst team in the ACC last season, but of course it didn't happen. They went like 9-4 or something like that, and plus, I think this game Duke could definitely win this game. But I'm gonna go Clemson here. I think Clemson. I just think they're the better team. Cade Klubnik is back, who I think he's gonna have a better season than somewhat what he had last season. I think Clemson's gonna win this game.
That's fair. Yeah, it's going to be a fun one to watch, and if I end up being wrong about that game and Clemson ends up beating Duke, then it wouldn't be the craziest thing to happen. I will say that, and this is Duke we're talking about, so who knows? Anything can happen in this matchup. Now that we've talked about all the important games of the week, we're going to reverse it back to September 2nd, Saturday, and talk about what is the biggest matchup for us. Virginia coming to Tennessee to take on the Volunteers of Tennessee. The Volunteers coming in as a 28-point favorite over Virginia. Virginia has been at the bottom of the barrel in the ACC for years now, and this is like year 4 of them being in that position. Tennessee had a phenomenal season last year, looking to carry on that same momentum under Josh Heupel in his 3rd year at Tennessee. Going to be a spectacular, they're going to have a spectacular offense. I think the defense is going to have a lot more depth to them, so I think they'll shine out a lot better than before. And the expectation is that Tennessee blows out Virginia. You think that's the agreement that we all set that to?
Tennessee wins and wins easily. Virginia's terrible. They're going to be the worst team in the ACC. Joe Milton, heck, I don't even know if he's going to play in the second half. It's probably going to be Nico playing in the second half, honestly. Dante Thornton, Brew McCoy, Brabell Keaton, Squirrel White, Dylan Sampson, I could go on. All those people will tear up Virginia. And on defense, big ol' Amari Thomas. You also got that one. I can't remember what that one freshman's name is that we got. I can't remember. He's like on the freshman All-American list.
What position?
He's a linebacker. Yeah, I think he wears the number 7, if that helps you.
You must be talking about Arian Carter.
Yeah, Arian Carter. I'm really high on him. I think he's going to show out this year.
That guy's talented. I think we're going to see some freshmen step up in this game.
Yeah. Our front 7, I think, is going to absolutely shut down Virginia. I think Tennessee wins this game. I must say 59. I'm going to say 59-7.
Dang. 59-7. Jeez. You must have a lot of hope in our second string defense then. As for me, no shocker here. I think Tennessee wins this game pretty easily. Joe Milton's going to ball out. The defense, they're going to do their part. Our wide receivers are going to have no trouble getting open. And I think Joe Milton easily plays out Virginia's quarterback. Tony Muskett from Monmouth is where he came from. And, he could be a great move for Virginia, but I don't think it's going to be enough to close the gap against Tennessee. So that being said, if I were to have a score prediction on this game, and I'll have to remember this for when I do my preview on Thursday.
1,000,000-0.
That would be the right move, but I will do 52-17. I think the game's never in doubt. I think Tennessee will be up by 35 points going into the half, and then the second and third strings come in, and that's when Virginia kind of gets a couple of drives going, gets some points up on the board.
Yeah, I'll change my score.
Too late to go back on that. No, you got it. You got it. Too late. Yeah, too late. Yeah, no, we're remembering that.
All right, 59-7. We're holding them to 7 points. Remember this.
59-7. No, you said 59-3, I think. Or
wait, I said 59-7.
Maybe you did. I don't remember, but 59-7, and then as for me, 52-17. We'll see which one gets closer, and we'll be right back with you guys next Sunday to talk about that, as well as the next game coming up, the Austin PPs. We'll get to talk about them as well. I got a lot of great things coming up on this channel, of course. Now that we are through the season, I'll have my preview out. I'll have a hate video out. We're getting into the college football season, which means that it's 12 to 13 straight weeks of talking about college football in here, which is what we've all been waiting for. Super excited for it, and I'm sure Lucas is as well.
Yes, sir.
Man, it's been a long wait, but we're finally here. So that's all there is to it today on the VOLSTAR podcast. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for the guys who commented on here. And if you haven't already, make sure to sub up to Squidtard Sports and Lucas Sharp if you haven't already. We'll be right back with you guys next week for episode 6 when we talk about review what happened over week 1, as well as preview some of what's coming up on week 2. So with that being said, we'll see you guys next week. And Lucas, you have any finalizing words?
All I gotta say, baby, is go Vols. Virginia sucks. Tighten up and let's go, man. Go Big Orange.
You already know. All right, well, we'll see you guys next week. Virginia, you're getting a big old whooping coming to you very, very soon. So we'll see you guys later on. And as always, power to Tardaria, and more importantly, go Vols, baby!